Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to The View from the Afternoon, the official podcast of the TPD TV YouTube channel. It's just me that you've got today because I wanted to do a little yearly wrap-up. I did one of these last year, and it was nice to do, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it, and then it's been getting a few comments saying you're going to do another one. So I thought, why not? I've got some time today. It's a Sunday. It's absolutely freezing cold. We've got these curtains up, as you can see, or if you're listening, we've got black curtains up, but they go right close to the radiator. We're using them to film a couple of projects that we've got coming next week, and they're right next to the radiator, so I've had to turn the radiator off, which means I'm very cold. It's 1 degree in here at the minute. Or maybe not in here, but just on the other side of that curtain and that glass. Anyway, what we want to do is just give you a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. So curtains come up again in conversation already. And share some reflections on what went well this year, what didn't go well. Give you a little bit of a peek behind the scenes, and go through our 2023. It was an absolutely brilliant year. I think we did a really good job, if I do say so myself. I think we did the best job we possibly could have done, with a couple of exceptions, which I'll go over in the video. We didn't have a breakout hit like the Coachella video from 2022, but we certainly had a lot of success with some big videos. I think we got maybe 3 videos that got over 500,000 this year, which is just unheard of for us, though it's kind of becoming a bit more heard of, which is crazy. It's been a real interesting year. There's been a lot of changes that you guys don't necessarily know about. There's been a lot of work gone in behind the scenes to make sure that everything just keeps rolling. And what I thought would be nice is just to kind of explain to you guys what everyone does, because it's not obvious what each member of the team kind of brings. It's all well and good everyone's saying, oh, you know, Dan's doing a good job of the podcast, or I'm good at editing, but that's very visible, and there's a lot of stuff that's not visible that I just want to let you guys know is hard work that's being done and being done really well. So I think it's appropriate to start there. So obviously, you know me, you know what I do. I'm it's branded as internally as creative director, just because that sounds, I mean, I chose that title myself. It sounds a bit, just sounds good, doesn't it? But essentially my responsibility is to keep the videos coming out, to edit the videos, which I do 100% entirely myself, to do the thumbnails. Generally I'm kind of what we refer to as like the lead camera and the narrative in a video. I'll usually have the most clips filmed and blah, 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 but you kind of know what I do. So we move on to Vals. Now, Jake appeared in every single video with me this year. And, you know, there were times where we could have felt burnt out, and we certainly felt tired, but we just kept doing it. And shout out to Jake. Jake's job is, he's generally like, him or Dan is usually the second kind of lead camera. They'll provide like the second most amount of clips after me. But Jake's like official roles are, he does all the social media for TPD TV. So anything that you see on Insta or Twitter or in the Sam Pelly squad coming from the official TPD page is all him. So all those brilliant, we call them carousels. I don't know if that's an official name for them. All the, you know, like after we've done a festival and we do the Instagram post about like the videos out now, he creates all them, and he does a brilliant job. But he also does the merch as well. So Jake Varley, we've just dropped our merch today, and it's doing pretty well. And with a couple of exceptions, Jake Varley designed them all. He's done all the logistics, all the discussion with the merch company. He's sorted out the website. He's ordered us all the samples, and his designs have been absolutely brilliant. He also is like the second in command graphic designer, if we need a logo making or something, and I don't have time, Val's will do it, and he's much better than me at graphic design. He's really, really good, and he's also obviously the second most seen on-screen personality. Dan, as you know, runs the podcast. Dan makes sure that we've got a podcast coming out every week. It can be quite stressful to do that. I know that because I used to do the podcast myself. And it's hard to get people together every week to deliver some consistent content. And he's managed to do that. I don't think there's a week, or maybe there's like 1 week that's been missed. And you know, Dan does that around his existing schedule, and he does a really good job. And I think there's a lot to do with this channel, and we were chatting about actually investing. We never really invest in this channel. We never put any money into it. We've used the same equipment for a bit. We have kind of a janky setup, and I think it's time to start investing in this, and Dan's going to kind of take the lead in that and just try and make this. It just seems like there's a lot of potential, and I'm sure Dan can get that, squeeze the lemon from as much juice as possible, if that's a phrase. So Dan does the podcast. Chuck. Dan's also like, as I say, like the second most contributing for the clips and stuff. Like, this is outside of the obvious stuff. Yeah. So Chuck, obviously, beloved on-screen personality. I've really grown. I always loved Chuck, but I've really, really come to love and appreciate his company to another level that I just didn't understand was even possible. After this year, some of the memories we've made together, I love him, and he really does bring it. Every bit of joy that you see him, every bit of joy that you get from seeing him in a video, I get from spending a weekend with him in Zurich or going to the Isle of Wight with him. But Chuck's job is to look after short form video, and it's still something that we're learning, and it's still something that we're not hugely successful in. So it's kind of a big task for Chuck to figure that out. This is Chuck's kind of responsibility in the channel, and what he does is he essentially will either on site orchestrate or film short form stuff for like TikTok, sometimes for Reels, or the harder job really, which he does, is going through the content that then I've created, the main channel video, and then converting like bits of that into short form, which is not easily done. And Chuck stays on top of that, as well as being a really, really kind of big on-screen personality. Who else have we got in the squad? Not everyone has an official kind of responsibility like this. So Mary, for example, we love Mary. Everyone loves Mary. Again, someone whose company I've appreciated on a new level this year. She's great, and I'd have her in every single video if I could. And hopefully we can work our way towards making that happen. Mary doesn't have like an official responsibility in the business side of things. Not yet, anyway. But we'll never say never. When we all came up with this, we just happened to be together as a certain group and just divvied it out then. So like Ben doesn't have one either, but Ben has obviously frequented the podcast more than anyone else. He's a real believer in the podcast. And everyone wants to see more Ben, and I'm right there with you. I would love to have Ben at more things. I've really enjoyed his company at Benicassim. I thought he was great there. What else did Ben come to? I camped with Ben at Leeds, and he was great. Who else we got in the group? I'm forgetting the group of best friends that I have. So Raz does a lot. Raz drives a lot. You've seen that. Raz, I think the biggest slog that Raz probably did this year was driving to Rockworcester, which we all really enjoyed. That was a great festival, but we couldn't have gone there if it wasn't for Raz. Raz drives a lot, and We're really reliant on Raz for a lot of things. But Raz also is he's kind of like the manager of TPD TV. I guess that's a good way to describe it. He sorts out all the sponsors. He sorts out all the festival accreditation, does all the emails and the admin, basically. So every kind of sponsor deal that you've seen us do, and we've done some good uns and some not so good uns, as in we've had some really good ones, opportunity to work with some really good companies, and then we've had some issues with some sponsors that maybe I'll go into in this video, maybe I won't, maybe it's not appropriate. We'll see where the conversation goes. But every single one of them, Razzy's sorted out. Razzy's negotiated it. Razzy's dealt with any ambiguity that comes his way. Razzy's really good at communicating in a way that I'm just not. Like Raz don't have any fear of asking for his worth, asking for our worth, or if that makes sense. Like he's just confident with it, and he does a great job. And also Raz is the DJ as well. Something that I said I would learn around this time of year, but I haven't done it yet. So Raz does a lot. And he also, appears on video. I've spent a lot of weekends with Raz this year. Not as many as I would like, but a lot. And we've had some great times. Possibly the most unsung hero is also the person whose name is shouted about the most, Matty Bridie. You haven't seen Matty Bridie for a while. Neither have I. I think the last time you've seen him in the channel was Leeds Fest in the guest camp video. And only briefly in that video. And then I think he was there at the start of the year. He was at Glasgow and he was at Coachella. Bridie has a job that's probably the least rewarding, but maybe the most important. He deals with all the finance side of things. He communicates with our accountant. He looks after the business side of things. He looks after the expenses. He looks after the budget. Something that I just couldn't do in a million years. I have no idea where to start with that. And as this kind of project grew from, what it was a few years ago into something a bit more kind of sizable, if I was on my own, that would be the one thing that I would just never be able to get to grips with. But Bridie deals with all that from behind the curtain. And if it wasn't for Bridie, we wouldn't be operating as well as we are. So that's a bit of love for everyone and just a bit of a behind the scenes and kind of everyone's role, because, I want you guys to know that everyone's doing a lot of work in their own respective areas. And sometimes, there's frustrations and clashes with each other, with me or with whoever. And it happens. We're all still kind of learning this, but I'm really proud of how we've managed to kind of trial this out, working this way for this first year, under the mission of ultimately entertaining. All we want to do is entertain. I live and breathe this channel, and I don't exaggerate when I say 90% of my free time is TPD TV related. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It is my distinct pleasure to bring you content and to do this. Anyway, hopefully you appreciated that little bit of insight. I haven't forgot anyone, have I? No, I don't think so. But yeah, we're an operation that's running pretty smooth most of the time. What I want to do now is go through the videos from this year and just tell you my thoughts on them, tell you what I thought was good, what I thought wasn't good, shed a bit of background, shed a bit of light, maybe spoil a few things, a bit of the movie magic. So as I start recording this episode here, I'm literally just rendering the last video of the year, which is a movie, and I'm really, really pleased with it. So let's start in January last year when we released our first video in over a month, and it was the world's worst pub crawl. This video I'm really pleased with. I tested positive for COVID-19 in January. And my workplace at the time was overly protective. And if you tested positive, you had, I think it was 10 days off work. But the government guidance was less than that. And I tested positive, and then a couple of days later I tested negative, and then I tested negative again. And so I was kind of free. So I rang up Mary and Chuck, and I was like, what can we do? We've got a video. We've not put out a video for a bit. What can we do? And the next day, in real time, we conceptualized the world's worst pub crawl, where we had a drink. I think we had like 15, 16 drinks in all these different places where you would never go to get a drink. Casino, Taco Bell, Nando's, the airport. We really did book flights to get into the airport so that we could get this drink. IKEA. And the video did really well. It's a unique video. It's a very British video. And I'm really proud of how it went. You know, it was a low budget. It probably cost a few £100 all in, including the flights. In fact, we probably broke even because I won £300 in the casino that day when we went to get a drink in the casino. That did really well. And it used a thumbnail that I was really pleased with as well. I think the thumbnail for that vid's great. And then we followed that up with, you know, because we're like outside of festival season. It's like, what do we do? And we're kind of just naturally land on doing a pub crawl. So then we did the sub crawl. And I tried something a bit different with the sub crawl. That's a famous Glasgow pub crawl. And our dear friend Ryan told us about it, showed us around, basically was our guide for the day with that. And it just wasn't interesting enough, I think, to be a main channel video. Like, even though that was only 9 months ago, we wouldn't put out something like that now. I trialed out a new editing style, like a Mr. Beast, super fast paced, like super high edited style. And it got a lot of feedback saying, we don't like this, it's too quick, it's too fast. So after that, you know, we kind of rested for a bit, and then we did the 1975 tour. Now, the title of this video is "We Spent £10,000 on a Huge UK Tour." That's a bit of a lie. It was just a bit of a clickbaity title. We did spend a lot of money, but it wasn't 10 grand. The tour was over a lot of dates, and we had a great time. It was voted in a viewer poll as our lowest liked video, people's least favorite video of the year. So we're not going to do another 1975 tour video, though I think if this is our last 1975 tour video, I think we did a good job. Really keenly edited over the course of maybe 6 weeks because the tour went on for a while. Really fine-tuned. I think it tells a story instead of just being footage of the band. I think you you should hopefully feel like you're along for the ride. The hotel that we had to book, because we got kicked out of the hostel in London, and we had to book that hotel for like £900. That was a substantial chunk of the budget. I think all in, it was probably about 6 grand that we spent on that. But 6 grand doesn't have as nice a ring to it as 10. Also, you know, we got comped quite a few of the tickets. So we kind of factored in what they would have cost. And we basically kind of moved the goalposts until we felt like 10 grand was an appropriate thing to have in the title. Following on from that, we released what I think is probably the best video that we will ever make. I can't think of a video that we will create that will be better than this. It's not our most viewed video. It's not our most loved video. But I think it is the best YouTube video that we have ever made. And I think if another creator had made this video, I would probably think it was one of the best ideas I'd ever seen. And that's the chicken shop video. From AFC to ZFC, we visited every chicken shop in alphabetical order. This was genius, if I do say so myself. And it spurred from a KFC advert that was on Reddit that Raz sent to the chat. And it was KFC saying, like, accept no imitations. And it had a picture of all the kind of fake A, B, C, FCs. And I was like, we need to do this. Raz said video idea. I remember him just sending that and saying video idea. And I was like, right, absolutely. And then almost within a couple of days, we were doing it. And the way we did that, because a lot of people have asked, it's got 500,000 views, that. And you'll be pleased to know a sequel is in the works, though we will never top that initial video. The way that worked is we basically looked around leads for as many as we could get, right? We don't do them in consecutive order, A, B, C, D. We did for maybe the first 8 or 9 because we could. And then we'd realise, right, there's this one in Manchester, there's this one down in Watford or whatever. And we, over the course of 2 weekends, we basically hit them all in the most efficient way possible. You know, we didn't go back and forth, London to Leeds to London to Leeds. We did it in a smart way. And the edit of this was really unique for us because we don't make videos like this. If you've seen the video, which I'm sure everyone has that's listening to this, it's all done with like voiceover. It's a proper YouTuber-y type video. And, you know, we got everyone round for the voiceover. We you know, and I just think it was like lightning striking in the right place, if that's a phrase. I'm so proud of that video. And lots of people saw it. Lots of bigger creators saw it. It was talked about on like the Jackmate podcast, and it was talked about. But, you know, when I meet people who aren't fans of TPD TV but recognize us, they recognize us from this video. I'm immensely proud of this video. Even down to the thumbnail, everything was done with such meticulous care and detail and intent. Big up the chicken shop video. As I say, sequel in the works. It's probably not what you think, but it's in the works. Really proud of that. Great squad on board. Loved it. Funny story, actually. In the thumbnail, I'm holding like we're all eating chicken and I'm holding like the box of chicken. So we did a photo shoot in April or in March or whatever. And we had our friend Sam over doing the shoot, pro photographer. And I was like, we got this chicken shop video coming out. Like, can you shoot as a thumbnail, like in the living room, in front of the green screen? He's like, yeah, cool. So I went out to some chicken shops in the middle of the day to try and buy this thing, this box of chicken for the thumbnail. And I bought one, and it came in the wrong type of box. We needed one of these square boxes with the branding on that's in the thumbnail, and it just came in one of those polystyrene ones. So then I had to go like, sorry, mate, can I have it in a different box? And he's like, these are the only boxes we got. So I'm like, shit, I've just bought this fucking thing. So then I had to go to 2 more chicken shops and just ask for the box and just say, can I have just an empty one of these boxes? Kind of embarrassing, but they gave us one. After that, we've got the Coachella double bill. We went back to Coachella and we tried a different angle. The first year, it was all about discovery and awkward British lads discovering Coachella for the first time. This year, we got Mary and Choc on board, which I'm really pleased we managed to do. It's not cheap, and all of Coachella was self-funded, supported by you guys, of course, and our sponsors. But, you know, we didn't get any freebies. We have no relationship with Coachella, or we didn't at this time. And we did a double bill. We did one where we actually get the VIP tickets from our friend Ike, and we kind of, you know, so we've done the discovery in the first year. Now we're showing you the VIP stuff in this year, and we had enough footage to do a full length B-sides video as well, which was called Coachella: The Dark Side. Fun fact about that: the thumbnail, everyone's frowning. Everyone was actually smiling in that picture, and we used Face App to turn it into a frown for everyone. That was a bit more of a gritty version of a Coachella video, and it's done really well. I mean, we got 2 videos out of Coachella this year, and that wasn't the intention. I want to make this clear. That was not the intention. We didn't go out there trying to squeeze 2 videos out of it. We just ended up with kind of 2 different narratives, and everyone filmed so much that we kind of had 2 stories to tell. And that worked great, because with something like Coachella that's so expensive to facilitate 7 of us going over to Coachella for the week, the fact we managed to get 2 videos out of there, and therefore 2 sponsors and 2 lots of AdSense, it was a real kind of blessing. And again, that wasn't our intention. We've done videos like that before where that is our intention, but this wasn't the intention, and it worked well. Obviously, it didn't get the same reception that our initial Coachella video got, and I'm pleased to tell you we are going to Coachella 2024, possibly the last time, and we've got a unique spin that we're going to put on it there. But yeah, Coachella double bill, did well. And then we're into festival season, starting off with Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk is it's a hard event to keep your viewers entertained at for a full-length video. But I think we did a decent job. Thumbnail's really good. Slam Dunk got a lot of flack, got a lot of hate for being not so well organised this year, and they've done a lot of talking about it, and they've promised that it's going to be better for 2024. But Slam Dunk's always the start of our season. Next year, it's not going to be. Not to say we're not going to Slam Dunk, but we've actually got a lot planned next year, including stuff much earlier than Slam Dunk. I don't really have any reflections on the Slam Dunk video, aside from I'm really glad that they switched the days around and it's London first and then Leeds second, because what you get then from a content perspective is you get a dedicated team of us going down to London to work and get content for the vid. And then you have Leeds where everyone's kind of extended family and friends is there, and you're kind of more just chilling out. When Leeds was the first day and then London followed, everyone would be less focused on the content, including myself, for the first day. So the video starts off slower, which I didn't like. The next video was Rock Am Ring, and we loved Rock Am Ring. We were accredited. We had a really nice contact at Rock Am Ring. Raz sorted that out. Just kind of reached out. Hello, this is us. This is what we do. And they were very happy to have us over. We got a lovely Volvo XC90. And this is the thing with our festival season for 2024. We want to prioritize fresh experiences because you don't have to try and you don't have to force anything. We went to Rock Am Ring. We discovered it in real time, and we took you along for the ride, and everything was organic. We had a really, really good time, and the video's done well. It's got 250,000 views. Contrast that with the next video, Download. We've been to Download for 10, 11 times, and nothing's really I mean, stuff has changed, but nothing had changed between this year and the last year, so it was really hard to make the Download video, and I didn't really enjoy being at Download, to be honest. I love Download. I love the Download team. I love a lot of the staff. I know a lot of them. And Download's a great place to be. But as a content creator, it kind of fell a bit flat this year. Bridie had to drop out, which and he had a very valid reason for doing. But for some personal reasons, Bridie had to drop out. He still dropped us off there, which is a testament to his character. But he couldn't make it to the festival. So we'd kind of lost Bridie. Our camp was quite small. It was quite tame. Dare I say we were kind of boring. And yeah, there just wasn't that much new to show you. Me and Dan were wandering around the site like, what the fuck can we show them? Maybe we need to get out of our own heads. Maybe we need to try something new. The Download video probably would have performed really well, as it always does, but it got age restricted. I can only assume that's because of a bit where Dan had a bad experience when he was given something that he didn't know he was having. Trying to not get this video demonetized. But it got age restricted, which means it stops being recommended and it doesn't spread, and it actually ended up being quite a low performer. And because of that and the on-site experience, I have no kind of real fond memories of Download. Transition that with Park Life, the next video that we did. We decided to drop Sunday at Download and go to Park Life. And what a great decision that was. Our good pal Rianne took us to Park Life in the car from Download. And wait, did she? No, something like that. And you know what? we could have had a day watching Slipknot and showing you the same old shit at Donington Park, but instead we went to Park Life and we had a brilliant time. That video's done really well. Another 250,000 views on that. And again, it was all about the discovery. It's organic. We're discovering it in real time. We're not trying to create content. Content is just getting created. We had a brilliant time and loved it. Loved Park Life. I'd like to go back for the again, but that kind of negates what I'm saying about we're trying to have fresh experiences. After that, it was the big one. It was Glastonbury. Now, what to say about Glasgow? We got our Glasgow tickets when they first came out, and I can confirm we've not got them this time round. We don't have tickets for 2024. But we knew that Glasgow, like Coachella, we needed to really get our heads together and really focus and really create the best possible Glastonbury video that anyone could make. And I'm really pleased with the result. We went as a 5, no we didn't, we went as a 6, a real strong 6, and no, we went as a 5, a real strong 5, and we made a list of everything we needed to see, everything we wanted to showcase, everything down to the food that we had. It was like, right, everyone, every day is going to get a new food. Don't matter how much you like your fucking grilled cheese, you're getting a new food, a different food to everyone else as well, and, you know, showing as much as you can. We're going up this, we're doing this, we're off to this thing, we're showing you this, and we really tried to cover it as comprehensively as possible, and I think we did as good a possible job as we could have done. We had this thing called Galileo. It was like a kind of like a safe word, because Glasgow's massive and you get knackered. But what we would do when we found ourselves becoming complacent and just sitting down at the camp and not doing anything, if one of us said Galileo, it meant it doesn't matter how tired you are, it doesn't matter, get up, let's go and explore and get some content. And we didn't need to use that many times, but we did use it quite a bit. This was while the submersible was missing, and that kind of dominated a lot of our personal conversation over that weekend. We were just fascinated with what's happening with it, where's it going, blah, 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 how much oxygen has it got left. People received the Glastonbury video really well. It pleased the two types of people I wanted it to please. The TPD TV viewer, who's been here for ages, they really seemed to like it. But also the Glasgow fan who's never heard of TPD TV, they seem to really like it as well. And though people have said we've got loads more that we could show you at Glasgow, I don't think that we'll be able to go in 2024. We don't have tickets, and I feel like we covered it very comprehensively this year. But that was a real long time coming, and I'm glad we got to do it as that 5. You know, we're kind of like the 5 canaries. We went to Coachella first, then we got the rest of the gang on board for Coachella. We went to Glasgow first. Next time we go to Glasgow, we'll go with a bigger squad. After that, it's the Isle of Wight Festival, and this really cemented how much I love hanging out with Chock and Jake as a 3. The good thing with us is there's 9 of us, right, in our kind of in TPD, and we do different things in all different combinations of people, but we always end up saying, no matter who it is, like we'll recognise in real time and say out loud, like, oh, this is a good squad. You know, me, Bridie, Dan and Raz, the OG squad. If we ever hang around, which we don't, sadly, very often, but if we do, we're going to be like, God, this is a good, we've got some good memories together. God, this is a good squad. And the good thing about us is no matter what combination of people we've got, we'll probably say that. But me, Chock and Jake is a squad I've really enjoyed hanging out with. We did 3 things together this year, and Isle of Wight was the first one of them. Now, Isle of Wight wouldn't accredit us, which is fine. You know, we get that. We don't get accredited for everything. In fact, we more often than not this year, I think we just paid for tickets. But Isle of Wight weren't interested in having us. So Bambino Becky sorted us out. she had like extra passes and she gave them to us. And we had a good time with Becky and Harry and Finn at Isle of Wight. And we had a great time all in at Isle of Wight. It was actually brilliant. I would really recommend the Isle of Wight Festival to anyone out there. It's cool to get there. You go on the ferry. It's a lovely place. It's the Isle of Wight. I had a fantastic time. Had a piss in a cup in front of a princess. Video did well. Then we had Rock Worcester, which again, no accreditation. Now Rock Worcester were we just emailed them late. It turns out we'd never actually emailed them and asked for the press accreditation. So by the time we got round to it, it was like 2 days before the event, and they were like, "We love what you do, and we'd love to have you, but it's too late now. But we'll have you again next year," which was very nice of them. But we'd already kind of planned on going to Rock Worcester, so we did we drove 8 hours to a festival with no tickets video. Not strictly true. We knew for sure that we were going to get some tickets because there was loads available. There was never any real ambiguity as to what are we going to do. Is there any chance? There was never a chance of it not going well. But a bit of movie magic in there. You know, we kind of built some story into it. You know, Dan's like struggling to find the hotel. Jake's struggling to get the tickets. In reality, it was all quite easy, but we wanted to sprinkle a little bit of storytelling in there. We stayed at the Grand Bursting Hotel, which I've learnt is quite a meme, quite a funny hotel. And the day that we went over in the Channel Tunnel was like Le Mans. Le Mans was on, so there was loads of sick cars, Ferraris and Porsches and, you know, Zagato, Alfa Romeos and McLarens and, you know, the whole works, all travelling over to France, which was very cool. Rock Worcester was brilliant. We've just planned the festival awards, and Rock Worcester could have won 4 awards if we didn't have certain rules in place to eliminate multiple winners. Rock Worcester is fantastic, and I strongly recommend it. The lineup for 2024 looks absolutely brilliant, and I would definitely recommend Rock Worcester. Fantastic place. After that, we had a bit of a whack double bill. This was the first of 2 weekends where we tried to do 2 festivals. Instead of going over to like a European major festival, we crammed in Transmit and 2000 Trees into the same weekend. And both videos suffered and both experiences suffered. Transmit was great on the ground as a punter. Trees was fine. But as a content creator, it was just hard work. Trying to find stuff to show you at 2000 Trees that we haven't already shown you for the last 3 years was incredibly difficult. And even though we're very tight with the Trees family, I think it'll be a few years now before we return to Upcote Farm, just because we need to innovate. The gimmick with the Trees video was like we've brought a bed from IKEA and a full like bed setup. But what would we do next year to make it fresh and make it new? Trees is a fantastic place to go if you're into the music on the lineup. But if you're a content creator going for the 4th year, you probably don't go for your 5th year. Transmit was the same. Met some cool people. Saw the 1975. It was good, but it was a bit of a bomb of a video. It got the least love out of every video that we'd released up until then. But we needed those little videos because the next thing we did was Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland was the best festival I've ever been to in my life. I've got to say it. It was fantastic. And like Glastonbury, we knew we had a mission and a story to tell. We knew we'd be out of our comfort zone, which is when we're at our best. And I think we did a really strong job of delivering that Tomorrowland video, which also now has just over 500,000 views. We booked Tomorrowland at an extortionate price. We don't have any friends at Tomorrowland, any contacts, and they'd sold out. but we knew that this was going to be such an important video for the channel that just grin and bear it. So we booked it with a travel agent, and I think each ticket cost about $2,000 per head. It was extortionate. But do you know what? It was worth every penny. It's done wonders for the channel. It's probably paid for itself by now. And we had a great time. We have very loosely started communicating with Tomorrowland, and we hope to return. We would break our rule of no duplicates to return to Tomorrowland. And we already have something in the pipeline for next year, which is very similar. Tomorrowland is incredible, and I had such a great time at Tomorrowland. And the team that went to Tomorrowland, me, Chock and Jake, and Raz, now that's some good company right there. I'm privileged to have spent the weekend with them. After that, we went back to Benicassim. Now, I love Benicassim. Officially called Fibre Festival in Benicassim. I love this place, but obviously last year when we went, we had the issue with the tent. And that was someone's fault, right? So we were pissed off. They invited us back, and as you've seen, they were super, super nice to us. We had a good time, a really good time. It's a great place to be. We've also been invited back as many times as we want. They're very nice to us. We're effectively part of the family at this point, and we'll definitely return at some point. I'd really recommend Benicassim as a little holiday and festival in one. I think it's brilliant. Ben came, which was great because we didn't get to see a lot of Ben this year, and it was really nice to have him there. It was important that he was there because he experienced 2022's issues, and we wanted him to experience the redemption. And we had a great time. The video did really well, just under 200,000 views. Predictably, a popular video. After that, we went to Boomtown. Boomtown was tough. Sheesh. It's also one of the demonetized videos, which sucks because it's on 250,000 views. The thing we didn't consider about Boomtown is how popular we'd be on site. It sounds arrogant. I'm sorry if it does, but we couldn't move for the first day. We were getting swarmed. It was like some fucking paparazzi going on. And it was incredibly warm, if memory serves. And we were all quite fatigued. And we just really didn't have we just weren't cut out to handle the situation. We leveled out as the weekend went on. And we ended up having a brilliant time. I think Mary said it's the best festival she's ever been to. And it was great to show Raz around as well. Because Raz didn't go there last time, and Chock as well. Chock's first time at Boomtown. We actually worked with Boomtown. They looked after us this year. They saw the original video. That's how a lot of this goes, right? We asked for a press accreditation, which people often say to me, "Oh, you guys get free tickets," and it's not so much that we get free tickets. We don't pay for the tickets when we get accredited, but we are, for free, delivering potentially some of the best marketing a festival could ever ask for. And I know that might sound a bit arrogant, but it is the truth. The amount of, if four of us would go to Tomorrowland on our own pocket and deliver a video like we did, I guarantee you at least 4 people are going to buy Tomorrowland tickets based off seeing that video. So that's all the festival needs to break even on accrediting. And this time Boomtown had seen the video. They'd seen like these guys are good, hopefully they thought, and they looked after us and they gave us some great passes, and we had a lot of fun. The experiences that we had, we got to kind of queue jump some stuff, so we got to experience some stuff that we wouldn't have been able to experience had we not been on as press. And it was brilliant. Boomtown's class, and I would entertain doing it 2024, even despite the commitment to no repeats. It was brilliant. We've then got 3 videos which they're kind of mid. One is Truck Festival. This was our worst performer of the year. Maybe because of the thumbnail. We had a great time at Truck. I had a really good time, but it was the second instance of 2 festivals in one weekend. Obviously, we'd done Transmit and Trees, and then the Truck weekend, we did Truck and Tramlines. A lot of T's there, easy to get them confused. And we had a great time on site. Chucky made it really good. We had fun at the DJ set. Mary got on stage, but for some reason the video just didn't do well. I thought it was a good video. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe it's the fact it's a smaller festival. It didn't attract much attention. Maybe it's the thumbnail, or maybe it wasn't a good video, but I was really happy with it. We changed the thumbnail a few times just to see if it would affect the views, but it still sat down there at a low number. Then we got Leeds Fest. Best camp and guest camp. Leeds Fest was a big task, and I've really fallen out of love with the Leeds Fest experience because it just reminds me of such better times. And what I mean there is we used to camp in general, we used to take the piss, and we even used to have sometimes a smaller squad. And the smaller squad, generally, the better on-site experience. Forget the video. In terms of on-site experience and fun, generally, with a smaller squad, within reason, it's better. No one's acting like a muted version of themselves. No one's worrying, am I going to get in trouble for saying this? No one's being dragged away from the camp to do this, that, or the other. And I just kind of fell out of love with Leeds Fest for the last few years in guest camp. So I managed to come up with the idea of let's just do 2 camps. I want to have an authentic experience, what I deem an authentic experience. And I managed to recruit, if you will, into our camp some great people. Me, Jake, Mary, and Ben, and Chris. And it was the best Leeds Fest I've had in ages. We did Piccadilly. I don't think we'll do Piccadilly again unless they let us have a microphone. It's a real vibe kill when you're not allowed a microphone. But we had a great time. I had a really good time at Leeds Fest. People that we were camping with in our camp, some members of the crew were anxious, because we've often had big issues when we camp in general in terms of a massive crowd forming. But I was confident that no one's going to come and intrude in our camp if we don't ask them to. The only reason that used to happen is because we would advertise it. In 2019, we literally built a camp with a wall and invited everyone to come in and let's have a good time. And I was confident if we don't do that, people aren't just going to do that and take it upon themselves to do that. But we came to a compromise because people were anxious about camping in orange. So we said, well, let's camp in purple. And we did. And we had a fucking brilliant time. I had a brilliant time. It was proper like old school. And we went to great lengths to capture an old school TPD vibe. It was for the old school fans. We made a list of... We watched the 2014, 15, 16, 17 video. We made a list of all the little things we need. The multi-tool needs to make an appearance. The wind-up radio. I wore period-correct outfits from 2014, 15, 16. The same things I would wear to Leeds Fest, which was hard to do because some of that shit I didn't have anymore and I had to source it. The M&M at Wembley t-shirt mixed with the grey cheap Monday jeans. Do you know how hard it is to find that combo nowadays? I had a brilliant time and I'm really pleased with the video. It was nice to bring back the best camp name, though I did then retrospectively edit the thumbnail to say the real deal because that's just the brand at the minute. And that vid did really well. The guys in guest camp delivered a video that was way better than I thought they ever would. I was a little anxious about that. They had Raz and they had Dan for content directors, if you will. But just not being there and not having Jake there, we were kind of worrying, are they going to get enough footage? But together they managed to do a really good job and I'm really pleased with the video they made. It's a great, different view of Leeds Fest. And Chalk did a really good job of being the, the majority of the entertainment in that video. That video didn't perform too well. It sits just above Truck at the bottom of the charts. But we did it. We tried something new. And when you've been to a festival every year since 2009 and you've created 12, 13 videos about this festival, you've got to try new stuff. We're already trying to figure out what we can do, where we can innovate next year. Because we love Leeds Fest. But we need to try something new. After that, we had a break for a month. And then we went to Power Trip. Power Trip was, we reviewed it poorly, as in we gave it a negative review. And I stand by that. We spent a lot of money. I don't really look at stuff that's about us on the internet. But Dan found a post somewhere. And it was like, how can they justify going to Power Trip and spending all this money? And, when they don't like Iron Maiden and stuff. And the answer is, I mean, we've got an enormous amount of support from Patreon, and I believe this video had a really good sponsor as well. I think it was Eastpak, who's, to be honest, my favourite sponsor to work with. We needed to go because selfishly, it might have been the last time AC/DC ever performed, and we couldn't miss that. But also, we wanted to show you, a Coachella video with a totally different vibe, and I think that's what this was. It was at Coachella, and it was totally opposite to Coachella. So it was kind of an interesting story to tell, and we had a good time. We reviewed it negatively, but the analogy I use when people say, "Oh, did you have a good time at the thing?" It's like a pizza. Pizza's always going to be half decent. You're flying to LA with your best pals to see AC/DC. Of course it's good. However, objectively, is it good? No. But of course it's good as a novelty, as an experience for me, and us. Of course it's good, but it was the worst good that it could have been. AC/DC, though, still at the top of our lists. We were talking about this the other day. Best live performance I've ever seen in my life, hands down. Razzie agrees. Fantastic. Then we went to When We Were Young. Now, we just got back from Power Trip, and Raz randomly it's not random, he had it planned, but he just went straight back to America. I was like, oh, shit. And I kind of had fear of missing out because he'd gone back to America, and our dust was starting to settle. And, we all did When We Were Young together as a 5 last year. And it felt like a real shame that we weren't getting to experience When We Were Young together again. And instead, we were going to sit at home. And me and Jake had said for a few months, if we can do When We Were Young on a certain budget, let's do it. And we just couldn't. We just couldn't do it on a certain budget that we'd agreed. It kept going over budget substantially when we were planning it. So I'm miserable one day, and Blink-182 is playing in Manchester, and they've released these £25 tickets, right? And I'm saying to everyone, does anyone want to please get me out of the flat? Because I'm really bad at this, right? I'll let you in on a little secret, guys. I've struggled to find purpose or meaning to my life when I'm not creating, and I really struggle with it. People say, how'd you do it? Oh, you're always switched on. You're always doing stuff. Because if I'm not, I'm miserable. I'm so miserable. Yeah, there's a couple of weeks of the year where I like to just, hang out, lay in bed, watch Breaking Bad, watch Harry Potter. But I really don't like to switch off. I exist. My purpose and my fulfillment comes out of creating and being productive. And seeing live music. So I wanted to see Blink-182, and no one had fucking come. Which, fair enough, everyone's got their own shit going on, but I was like, I'll get the train, I'll get the tickets, please come and see Blink-182 this year. And everyone had stuff going on, no one wanted to go. So I messaged Mary. Mary didn't want to go, but Mary needed to go to town for something. So I went into town with Mary, and we ended up in Home Bargains, right? And I'm in Home Bargains, and I'm looking at the aisles of Home Bargains, and I'm thinking, I could be at Blink-182. I could be at When We Were Young. And I got home, and I rang Jake, or text Jake, and I was like, let's fucking do this. And the next day, 2 days later, we were flying to Vegas, over budget. But we had a fucking class time. It was outstanding. The spontaneous nature of a trip like that is just unheard of for us. I like to be spontaneous in a sense of like, I would have gone to see Blink-182 an hour later in Manchester. But I've never been spontaneous like this. And it was brilliant. And I'm so thankful for Jake for being down for it. Now, I know other people would have been down for it as well. There's certain factors that meant people were unable to come. But you know, I kind of thought, is Jake going to say, I can't be arsed, mate? And he'd have every right to say that because he's had a busy year. And he just didn't. And I'm so glad because he really he's in it with me and we're in it together. And we had a fantastic time. And will we return? I certainly hope so. Then we went to Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is shit. I'm going to say it. But Stoke Travel and the Stoke Travel campsite is fantastic. I think we did a good video for Oktoberfest. There's not too much really. Excuse me, fucking hell. There's not too much to tell you that you don't already know. But Stoke Travel were great. They're based in Australia. And if there's any way we can work with them to get over to Australia for a couple of festivals, we'd love to do that. And I think we might have spoke about that when we were drunk, but I can't remember. Then we entered December. So we've banked a load of videos that haven't released yet. One releases in 40 minutes, and it's our first December video, Electric Picnic. What a great time we had at Electric Picnic. Hopefully everyone enjoys that. We've had a lot of people asking for it. Fun story about Electric Picnic that you don't see on camera. I spent a long time hanging out with Melvin Ben in like the press area because I hadn't seen him for quite a long time, and I just admire him so much, and I have so much respect for him, and I hang on every word he says, and he seems to really like us as well. So I spent ages chatting with him, catching up with him, telling him about this, that, and the other, and him telling me about this, that, and the other. And then later on in the night, we randomly bump into him in like the middle of the woods at Electric Picnic, and he's chilling. You know, he doesn't drink. He's just kind of surveying the grounds. Everyone who needs to know who he is knows who he is, but he's not the kind of person who's going to get mobbed. He's just walking around chilling. And we say to him, like, oh, we're looking for the secret like bunker rave. And he texts us there himself. He goes out of his way and he texts us there. And the security go, hi Melvin, which I thought was just cool, you know, just to be walking around and you're just the guy. And yeah, he took us to the underground rave, and he didn't come in with us, but we made it there. And that's the end of the Electric Picnic video. And I just thought that was a really nice experience for me to have. Someone I admire and look up to so much, just kind of showing us firsthand something that we really wanted to see. Very cool. The festival video that is due to drop after that is Puckle Pop. Now, Puckle Pop was just before Reading and Leeds, and we had a break. Before Puckle Pop, we had 5 days off, and that was the longest break we'd had between festivals since the start of the year. But somehow it just didn't. It worked opposite. We must have had just enough time for our bodies to actually slow down, and then we were thrown right back into it. And we had a shit time at Puckle Pop, I got to be honest. We paid an extortionate amount for some terrible accommodation. The taxi was extortionate, which isn't Puckle Pop's fault, but it's the experience that you have when you fly to Belgium. And there's some personal stuff that it's not for me to disclose, but I'm really proud of Mary that weekend because she persevered despite some shit that was ongoing. And nothing, it's all good now. Everything's fine. I don't want anyone to worry. I'll read too deep into it. But she had every reason to have dropped out of that event. And she didn't. She still came with us. And we all just ended up on each other's nerves that weekend. It wasn't that good. I say at the end of the video that if Pukkelpop was the only festival you went to, you'd definitely have a good time. But like for us, it's not even the only festival in that part of Belgium this year that we went to, which is, I got to recognise the privilege there. But when you compete with Rockworkshire and Tomorrowland, Pukkelpop just didn't cut it. And I can't see us returning anytime soon. We then have Lollapalooza Berlin. And I tried something new with this video because we went to Lollapalooza Berlin in 2022 and the video we made was so short because we were so hungover that we couldn't release it. We couldn't put that out and give you that as a video. It was like 16 minutes long. So this year we went back, we experienced the whole thing. Me, Raz and Jake, we had a brilliant time, really good festival. But we introduced something that we call a time skip, which is where we pretend that like time is skipping forward based off a Futurama episode where time keeps on skipping forward. And we were having these anomalies in the video where we'd go like, whoa, and then it would like flick. And then you see the video that never released. So you're actually getting like the 2022 video and the 2023 video, but told in a style that we've never worked in before, and hopefully you like it. Raz has his famous injury in this video, and we famously don't get into Berghain. Lolla's great, and it takes place on a weekend where when you're at this deep in the year, I think this is like September time. When you're this deep in the year, like there's not many festivals left. So Lolla is probably on the cards again, unless there's something else. But I'd recommend it. It's absolutely brilliant. And then the final video of the year, which you've not seen yet, and I'm reluctant to kind of tell you about it because this video is going to come out quite a bit before. But do you know what? Anyone that's listened to an hour and 5 minutes of me rambling, I'm gonna spoil it. We've got the TPD TV movie coming out on Christmas Eve. And it is essentially a parody of the In-Betweeners movie. And it's me, Choc, Jake and Mary going to Ibiza. And it's 15 to 20% like acting, if you can call it acting. And then 80% vlog. It's something I'm really, really proud of. And I'm just rendering it now as we speak. It's an hour and 23 minutes long, and it's got a lot of care and attention put into it. We had the idea to go to Ibiza. The idea was given to us by Zoe London, at Tomorrowland, because she was DJ in residency at Ibiza Rocks. I've just heard some noise in the corridor. Just check if that's Dan. Because if it's not, then I'm in trouble. He was at the train station now. Yeah, he's home. Okay. Dan's been in London this weekend. So Zoe was doing a residency. So Zoe invited us out to Ibiza, and we jumped at the chance. We tried to get Raz on board as well, but Raz wasn't up for it. We went to Ibiza, and we've created this video that we're all really proud of. As I say, there's some acting in there. It's mostly a TPD travel vlog, which you've been asking for ages. And I think it's class. The main kind of idea behind it is that we're awkward and out of place and we don't fit in. And we're trying to get into like the big clubs, but we just can't do it without some help. And I just think it turned out brilliant. I'm just skimming through it now. It's full length. There's like a 2-hour cut on Patreon. yeah, it's full production, full thing gone into it, a lot of planning, and it's brilliant. I think it's worked really, really well. Relatively low budget compared to something like going to the States, but it's quite expensive for just a Europe trip. But hopefully you enjoy it. I think it's kind of our final gift to you of the year, if you will. It's not sponsored. It's just organic nonsense. Us just trying to do what we love and having a real good time with it. It was a great squad that we went with, Chucky, Mary, and Jake, and myself. I was really, really enjoying their company. We had some ups and some downs, but it was great, and I'm really proud of it. And it joined the TPD cinematic universe. You know, when we don't refer to our content as movies or films, but some we do, and you know, we go out with the intention to create something that's more than just a throwaway YouTube video. None of our YouTube videos, I would say, are throwaway YouTube videos, but we go with a bit of direction and a bit more of a mindset of like we're making a film. And I think you can feel that vibe when you watch something like a Route 66 or a Route 69 or a Road to Nowhere. You do feel like it's a bit more cinematic, and that's really what I've gone for with this. Really pleased with it. Hope you enjoy it. That's the year wrapped up. I'm so incredibly proud of the work that's been done by the rest of the guys. And I'm so grateful and humbled every day that I get to do this. I'm so fulfilled by what we do on this channel and immeasurably grateful to everyone that makes that possible. Whether you're a sponsor, whether you're a Patreon, or whether you're just a viewer, or whether you bought some merch or not, I owe everything. We owe all these great experiences and all these great stories to you, and you know, I'm so thankful for that, because certainly couldn't do it without you. Hopefully we can ramp up even more and continue this trajectory. Yeah, I guess that's it, innit? I guess that's kind of the wrap up. There's a few people that I want to say thanks to that you don't really even know about that make a big difference to what we do. And you always kind of, I never like to name people because you can always forget someone and then you've fucked it. But there's a few people that I really want to thank, just for making a difference to our year, and for being some really great friends. Ryan from Scotland, he does so much for us without even batting an eye. So thanks, Ryan. Sam. It's always great to meet Sam. You never know where you're next going to see Sam. It might be in the middle of Barcelona, or it might be in fucking Brudenell in Leeds. Sam, photographer extraordinaire, does a lot for us, asks nothing in return. Love the guy. Great guy. Jazz sorts out a lot of stuff for us, again at the drop of a hat, never asks for anything in return. A really good personal friend of mine as well, not that the other two aren't. Macy from Drop Dead, really cool thing that we got going on. We're really grateful. We love being able to rock some cool clothes, and I'm really glad that we got that running this year. I appreciate you very much. Obviously, I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but we can't do this without people listening, people watching, people sharing, people commenting, people liking, people subscribing. You guys have been an astronomically good audience, and we're very grateful to have you. On that bombshell, my voice is starting to fade out, so I'm going to leave it at that. I just recorded a song, I'm not very good at recording music, but we wrote a Raytons parody. I freestyled a Raytons parody at Rockworcester, and I thought, do you know what, it'd be good to have that as the credits on the TPD TV movie. So I've just recorded that, so my voice was a little bit fucked to begin with, and I guess it's still fucked now. It's getting worse. Thanks so much. Love you all. Back to the regular programming very soon. We're still sat on some great content that we never released from this year. We've got an Amsterdam travel video coming out. We've got even a few festivals banked, to be fair. So you're not going to be seeing the usual big break that you see from us. And on Friday, we're going to the last festival of the year. Me, Dan, and Jake. So we look forward to bringing you that, and we'll see you next time. All right, goodbye.